Different's great, but being different for the sake of being different, I'm not a big fan of, right? If you just want to be different for the sake
technology
of it.
Increased, I would hide behind it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes.
Because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Master Connector Show. I'm your co-host, Rob Genovesi. I got my co-host, Steve Spiro, over there. Steve. Usually you don't see him this soon. But, look, we're coming at you every single Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And I hope you're marking your calendars because we are always bringing amazing guests your way. Got to give Steve credit for this. He's meeting and connecting with amazing people who have accomplished things, who have done things, who have aspirations their whole life and achieved. And now they're spreading their experiences and their wisdom and their knowledge to us. So appreciate Steve. The connection part is what's key. And that's what we're doing here. We're promoting creating connection, creating community. Now, Steve and I go way back about 26 years or so, two former shy guys, still introverts. Our paths came together through business, through mentorship training. I was clueless. Steve was not as clueless, but we both didn't really know how to build relationships, connect with people. We were taught. I was painfully shy. I was scared to death. I was basically a man-child well into my 20s and 30s. And, we learned how to connect with people. We learned how to meet people. I know Steve may mention this, but he was challenged by our mentor to meet 3 strangers every single day. Can you imagine that? In real life, not by going into a networking chapter or anything like that. Anybody can do that. But to go out into the world, leave your house, IRL, right, in real life, and meet a stranger, make a friend of them in a very short period of time. The original hardcore raw network, as I always saw, Steve always says, the world is my networking organization. But fast forward again today, we are not shy guys anymore, obviously, because we're doing this show. And by the way, this show is brought to you by Russ Hedge Consulting. So, good friend of the show, Russ Hedge. Russ has over 30 years of sales and marketing success in multiple industries. He can help you be successful in your business by helping you truly connect, transform your business, connect to new customers. RussHedge.com. Thank you, Russ, for supporting the show. And also, to get on top of, a lot of the guests that are coming up, I talked about we have amazing guests. Go to masterconnector.show. We've got a scrolling list of all the upcoming guests. We're booked into next year, believe it or not. Booked into next year with amazing guests. You want to be able to learn from these people because, look, everybody's got a journey, myself included, still on the journey. And it's always helpful to learn from the people who have been down the road that you're going down. That's what mentorship is all about. We're learning here how to connect with people. And thankfully, we always get amazing guests who want to be able to connect with you too. But listen, I don't want to delay this any further. Let's bring him on. I'm a master connector, but he's the master connector. Come on, Steve Spiro. What's up, Steve?
What's going on, Rob G? It's great to be on here with you. And we have that in common. We were both painfully shy. It's crazy. And yeah, I just can't believe the challenge, but it's been a blessing long term. And to be able to meet cool people, and you and I reconnecting, I don't know, 2-3 years back, and then getting a chance to have you co-host with me on the show has just been an absolute blessing. So just appreciate you, sir. But what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. And I am so pumped on here to be on here with you guys. And if you're on here for the first time, we want to hear from you. So make sure you get in the comments, whether you're on here before, you've on here, first time. Get in the comments. Tell us where you're from. What city, state, country. We don't know if you're here unless you're actually getting in the comments. So just tune in. But it's going to be an incredible show. And of course, if you have any questions for our amazing guest, put the questions in for sure. But having some tech challenges. My video isn't so great today, but deal with it. Now we'll have to just deal with it, right? One of the things, one of the pillars of our show is having the grit to overcome obstacles. And of course, our guest is going to talk all about that. But yeah, we're having some grit and using some grit to get over these obstacles of tech stuff. But it's all good. Anyway, so let's talk, right? So, as the master connector, I relish the opportunity to speak on stage about the courage to succeed, and a topic that's honestly really close to my heart. True success demands an unyielding commitment to push through fear and adversity, transforming obstacles into opportunities. Being that shy and introverted and having to be able to get over that has been an incredible blessing for me in my life, and it's opened some incredible doors. So, I believe that every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. So, just having that ability to just take what's thrown at you and turn it into an asset, right? My learning disability, dyslexia, I think has been a great asset for me, being a creative problem solver, and I speak a lot about that. But listen, this courage doesn't mean that we don't face setbacks, but rather that we will persist despite them, learning and growing along the way. As we sort of said, each failure we encounter a stepping stone, a sharpening our resilience and refining our approach. It's the relentless determination that fuels our journey and inspires others to find their own inner strength. By embracing challenges and persevering with unwavering resolve, we set a powerful example for those around us. And remember, it's not just about reaching the summit, but about the courage it takes to keep climbing, no matter what, and no matter how steep the path is. Right? My mentor suggested reading a book years back, and as he knew I had a lot to overcome, and being a little bit older, I met him when I was in my 30s, and this book has been a source of inspiration for me, and has given me and helped me has helped me with that courage to succeed mentality. So that's going to be great. This gentleman is a hero of mine. I know Rob is going to introduce him, but if you can, in the comments, make sure you type in #Let's Go, and let's get into this. Robbie G, I'll pass to you, sir.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, let's go. Listen, put it in there. #Let's Go, because we are going. Listen, Ruben Gonzalez is a common man who achieved extraordinary things. He wasn't a gifted athlete in school. He was always the last kid picked to play sports. I can relate. He didn't take up the sport of luge until he was 21 years old. 4 years and a few broken bones later, Ruben was competing in the Calgary Winter Olympics. When he competed at the Vancouver Olympics at the age of 47, Ruben became the first person to ever compete in 4 Winter Olympics in a different decade. Since 2002, Ruben has spoken for over 100 of the 500 Fortune 500 companies. He's considered one of the top motivational and inspirational speakers in America. His best-selling books have sold over 300,000 copies and have been translated to over 10 languages. His incredible story takes people's excuses away and fills them with the belief and inspiration to face their challenges and fight for their goals and dreams. Please welcome to the show, Ruben Gonzalez. What's up, Ruben?
Wow, man, the pressure's on now. You guys did your homework. So I'm a shy guy too, okay? And it's funny, in the pre-show, Steve, you said something about the Tonight Show monologue, and Johnny Carson was painfully shy. So don't use it as an excuse, right? None of us have.
You gotta mute, Steve.
I read a really good book that not quite as good as some of your books, Ruben, but it's The Introvert's Edge to Networking. And in that book, he talks about how actually introverts have an edge on people because we're better listeners, and we're not just trying to put our influence on people, but actually listen, which is better people skills. But I just want to, before we get into this, want to acknowledge Claire. It was great having you get a chance to speak to Claire today. So she's joining us here, and Yolanda, incredible having you on. Amazing, part of the family, part of the Master Connector family, and she's excited, and she's welcoming you as well to be on the show here. So, Ruben, let's get into it. Right, we're big into stories. That's a big part of what the show's about. So, I want to type in community, type in #stories, and so how does someone from the hot and steamy Houston, right? With Yolanda is from Houston, so you guys are related. I don't know if she knows that. But anyway, end up competing in the Winter Olympics in the luge. Tell us a little bit, the short version, because there's so much we want to cover on this,
Sure. Well, I was born in Argentina. I was an oil brat. My dad was a chemical engineer. We came to the States when I was when I was 6 years old, and Queens, New York for a couple of years, Houston most of my life, and couldn't stand the heat. Moved to Colorado about 15 years ago and love it here. But I caught the dream when I was 10 years old. I'm watching the Olympics on TV, and I got all excited. I thought, that's what I want to do. And problem was, I was always the last kid picked for PE. I was on the bench for kickball, okay? So I didn't believe it was possible. I don't know. I didn't even know there was a bench in kickball. But anyway, so I didn't believe it was possible, but I was so fascinated by the Olympics. And it wasn't really the athleticism that drew me to them. It was their spirit, their heart, because I realized this is a group of people that are willing to train for years and years, no guarantees they're going to make it. And then some of them make it. You got to be so strong to put yourself through that. And I put them up on a pedestal. They were my heroes. And I read about them. And my dad got me to read biographies. So I would pick up, what successful people do. And what I kept seeing was perseverance. And so by high school, my nickname was Bulldog. I made a decision at 12 years old that I just wouldn't quit anymore. Perseverance is going to help you reach your dream. And when I was 21, I see Scott Hamilton win the gold medal in figure skating. He's about 5 feet tall. And I thought, if that little guy can win, I can at least play. I'm going to be in the next ones no matter what. It's a done deal. I just got to find the sport. And luge, I was looking for a sport with a lot of broken bones. I thought it looks like, maybe there'll be a lot of quitters, and that's where my superpower, perseverance, will stand out. And so I thought luge, and I can do that one by myself. And so that's how I did it. But when I called Lake Placid, gosh, at that time in my life, I think the only ice I'd seen was my iced tea in Houston.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. We appreciate it. And listen, I so can relate to the persistence. I think one of my superpowers, you get asked a lot of times, what's a superpower? And Rob and I call him Robbie G, but Rob and I have known each other for a long time, and I think he could attest to it. I mean, I don't have a quit bone in my body, because I've learned that if you don't quit, you win. You just keep going, like the Energizer Bunny,
Yeah, I learned that from you, Steve. When I refer to Steve, and this is a high compliment, I call him a machine, because Steve does not stop. He's like the Terminator, and I wasn't like that. I was the quit type. I had to learn how to not quit. So anybody out there, you feel like you don't have that perseverance bone in your, don't worry about it. You can learn it, because I don't quit anymore. Like, I don't even know what that means anymore. It's so far in the rearview mirror.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Success is a decision, right? So sooner or later, you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you have the Rocky moment, right? Like Rocky 1, he's been getting knocked down over and over, and finally, he just gets mad. He's like, I ain't going down no more. And they start playing the music, and something good's going to happen, right? And so we all need to have our Rocky moment. And when the chips, come down, it's time to, show who you are.
Absolutely, for sure. That's great. Well, I got a bunch of questions. I'm sure we're not going to get to all of them, but I want to just talk to you about, prepare. So #community, type in #prepare. And, it's all about mentality and preparation, right? What is it? The 5 Ps, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. It might be 6, right? Yeah, the piss in there, but let's talk about prepare. And so here's a question. How did you prepare yourself mentally when you first started to luge?
When I first called Lake Placid, I was 21, and the guy was laughing at me. He said, you're too old. He wouldn't take me. He said, you should have 10 years experience by now. I wouldn't take no for an answer. I knew if I hung up the phone, it was all over. And so then he tried to, talk me out of it, right? And he says, look, if you want to do it at your age, you want to do it in just 4 years, it's brutal. 9 out of 10 people quit. And I thought, wow, this works right into my plan. I said, what else? He says, expect to break some bones. And I said, great. And he got real quiet, and he goes, what's wrong with you, man? I told him, look, I hope it's 10 times harder what you're telling me, okay? Because the harder it is, the easier it is for me, because I don't quit, okay? I'm Bulldog. And so I was praying that the Germans would start quitting, right? But I didn't pray hard enough. But when I hung up the phone, the reality hit, and I thought, wait a minute. This guy didn't say I might break some bones. He said I would break some bones, right? So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle it when I break a bone? And I thought, well, I've broken bones before. You wear a cast for 6 weeks, take it off, it's healed up stronger than before. So when you really think about it, broken bones is just a temporary inconvenience. So I reframed it, and I had a contingency plan. You always have to prepare. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, if that happened, how am I going to deal with it? And you still pray for the best, right? But you better be ready for the worst. And I go up there, and first 2 years I broke my foot twice, my knee, my elbow, my hand, my thumb, couple of ribs. And meanwhile, I just kept coming back. Meanwhile, the other guys are quitting because they got a bruise, right? I mean, maybe they didn't think ahead. Maybe they thought it was going to be easy. I don't. Maybe they didn't want it badly enough, right? Because desire is huge. Okay, desire will determine what makes you quit. So if you want it badly enough, ain't nothing to make you quit.
I love that. Love that for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be pain in everything, right? Like you're saying, there's pain in everything. So, I mean, whether it's physical pain in the luge or it's emotional pain, you're looking to build a business. We got a lot of business people watching us. You know, there's a pain in the rejection. Oh, they can't take it. If you're in sales, you can't take the pain, so you quit. Like pain's a part of the game, right? Always.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And no disrespect to this. I'm not saying these people are pains. In fact, they're a blessing to us. But I want to welcome Trevor on the show here. Again, acknowledging Claire. And, again, if you're watching the show, make sure you get in the comments. And if you're watching it on the replay, type in hashtag replay. We want to know that you were here with us. But anyway, so Ruben, I want to talk about commitment, right? So, I heard this, right? Commitment to continuity creates emotional stability. I heard that. And just when you know you're going to do something, you just continue on, and it doesn't give you that roller coaster ride, right? But I want to hear what you learned in terms of the German luge team, and what did that teach you about commitment? Love to hear that perspective you had said about that.
Sure. The Germans, they've won about 80% of the medals in the last 50 years. Okay, they totally dominate, and they have 4 tracks in a country the size of Texas. Back when I got started, the only track in North America was Lake Placid. I mean, and so they were more committed. They were willing to pay the price, right? Because those tracks are not cheap, and so they wouldn't give me the time of day. I 2 years. My first 2 years was physical struggle, right? Because I was learning the sport, and they're just rushing me up. They crammed 10 years of learning into 2 years. That's why I got hurt so much. Everybody doesn't get hurt so much like I did. And then they threw me to the wolves. All of a sudden, I'm a beginner luger. Okay, I'm about as good as a kid that just got his driver's permit, and now I'm in the World Cup circuit to try to get enough World Cup points to be in the top 50 so I can compete in the Olympics. Well, it felt like that kid just got his driver's permit, and I'm about to go race against Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt and all those guys at Indy, right? I couldn't even look them in the eyes. I mean, you're in a room filled with Olympians and Olympic champions, and the Germans, they wouldn't give me the time of day, okay? And it confirmed that I didn't belong. And it was like the crisis of confidence, and it was the imposter syndrome, right? But imposter syndrome is not all bad. It just means that you're pushing, right? You're pushing outside of the box, right? And yeah, you feel like an imposter, but stay out there and learn the skills, right? If it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. And so I might be walking down the track back then, and there's a bunch of Germans working on a sled. And hey, Hans, how you doing? Nothing. They wouldn't even say hi. Okay, I mean, I felt like an ant. It wasn't until 2 years after my first Olympics. Okay, I'm training. And I'm walking down the track, see these Germans. I don't even say hi anymore because it hurts so much. And one of them shouts out, Gonzalez, hey, Speedy Gonzalez, why don't you go? How are you? And I got pissed, right? I said, what's wrong with you guys, man? I've been nice to you for years now, and I'm Speedy Gonzalez. Come, we must talk to you. They all sat and they gave me this talk that they do. The whole team, the coaches, everybody. They says, look, we have 4 tracks in the country, little bitty country. We have luge clubs all over the place. Some of us started when we were 5 years old. Okay, and first we became the best in our club, then the best in our town, then the best in our region. Then we make the national team, top 10 men, top 10 women. Then we make the Olympic team, top 3 men, top 3 women. There's so many great German lugers coming in behind us. We'll be lucky to do 2. But you know what we're going to do afterwards when we're done with our competing? We're going to coach, okay? Because we dedicate our lives to this because we want to continue this, right? We're committed. It's called commitment, right? We dedicate ourselves to this legacy, and we're sick and tired of seeing people from other countries. They come, they do 1 Olympics, and they disappear. You know what we call them? No, what? He goes, Olympic tourist, those with a little camera. But this is 2 years after your first Olympics. Obviously, you're trying to make the Albertville Olympics in 2 years. Whether you make it or not doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is you're respecting the sport. So today, you've earned our respect. Now, And that's called commitment. Now, when they told me that, I thought these guys are out of their minds. Okay, they're nuts. I didn't get it, right? But now that I'm older and wiser, I totally agree. I'm not crazy about their methods, right? I think you'd be a little nicer than them and get the same results. But commitment, you commit, and once you start earning the respect of the people in your field, that's more important than the standing ovation. I'd rather have, gosh. I got to share the stage with Zig Ziglar about 25 times in big arenas. And he used to make fun of me, right? He says, "Hey, Ruben, you're a little bit like the cross-eyed javelin thrower." I said, "What?" "Yeah, when you're speaking, you're just like that." I said, "What do you mean?" "Oh, you don't break any records, man, but you got the crowd on the edge of their seats. You're doing all right." And so getting that from Zig, to me,
Yeah.
that's worth 1,000 standing ovations. I couldn't even care less about a standing ovation because they don't know. If somebody comes up to you and they say, "You're the greatest speaker I ever heard," I'm thinking, compared to who, right? Did you listen to Zig? Did you listen to the top guys, right? Otherwise, so that helps me keep from getting a fat head.
I love it.
So, Ruben, I want to jump in here for a second because I'm going to tell you, this is something that reminds me when I was, just starting out my journey. Like I said earlier, I didn't really know anything about perseverance or persistence. When you talk about commitment, give us the Ruben Gonzalez definition of commitment for our audience.
It's a promise. Commitment is a promise you make to yourself, okay? And so you just keep on keeping on. I don't have any tattoos. If somebody forced me, you got to have one tattoo or we're going to shoot you, okay? It wouldn't even be the Olympic rings. My tattoo would be no regrets. No regrets, total commitment. That's what it would be, right? Because if you give it your all, I'm 62, just turned 62. I'm still training, okay? When we finish here, I'm hitting the road. I'm headed to Lake Placid for several days of start training. I'm trying to make the next one. If I make the next one, I'll be the oldest Winter Olympian in history. I'm sliding better and more consistently now than I ever have before, mentally stronger, right? The kicker is instead of the top 50, it's going to be the top 25. I've never even been close to the top 35. But coach says, you got a shot, okay? You're doing better than ever. Just give it all you got. You got a shot. And I told him, okay, I'm going to run on your belief, okay? Because this guy's got fruit on the trees. I said, look, I'm going to run on your belief, but whatever you do, don't tell them. If you think it's a 5% shot, I may not even try. And if you think it's a 95% shot, I probably won't work hard enough. So let's just say we got a shot. I'm going to give it my all. And whether I make it or not, man, I'm going to be a stronger person. I will dig deep inside, right? And I'm going to find God-given gifts I didn't know I had. And now I got them for the rest of my life. That's the prize, okay? The Olympics is just a little carrot that gets me to do all that hard work to discover who really Ruben is, right? And so, so it's a process. And if I make that one, hey, if you see me on the cover of AARP in a couple of years, that means I made it.
That's great.
Awesome.
I love that. I just want to acknowledge Claire's comment here. She said, pain is growth. Mental agility is how we adapt to pain and allow it to teach us the lessons we need. I just wanted to acknowledge a little bit, not exactly what we're talking about right now on the commitment side, but I wanted to make sure we took some time to acknowledge her. I know you've got another book on the topic of shortcut. So community, type in #shortcut. And I heard it said, listen, don't shortcut the shortcut, because a lot of times so sometimes we find out the secret of success, so we want to shortcut that, right? So, but I'd love to hear, what a little bit about your book, The Shortcut, and what the shortcut that will help you reach your goals faster than ever, if you could.
Sure. I've written 6 books, and everybody says The Shortcut's the best one by far, even better than my favorite was always The Courage to Succeed. And now everybody's saying, man, Shortcut's even better than the Courage to Succeed. And so being bulldog made me, I was a hardhead, right? I'm a hardhead, basically. That's what a perseverant person is. And so I wasn't very coachable. I had trouble listening to coach. It was weird. I would always approach the mentor, right? The person, look for the person that's already done what you want to do, and asking for tips. Can I pick your brain? Can we have some coffee? And then take action, right? Well, that's the part I didn't do. I wouldn't take action. And so, but I would still approach them. And so a mentor wants a mentee that will take action. Action is where the rubber meets the road. And so, so it took me for the first 3 Olympics, I was that way. And then on the way to number 4, it went from top 50 to top 40, right? They got to go to the Olympics. And I was always about 45 when I did when you did the math. And so I knew, back to the wall. I'm 47. Everybody thinks I'm a coach. Heck, they thought I was a coach when I was 39 at the last Olympics. I'm old today. I'm older than I think there's only 2 coaches that are older than me. I'm older than the coaches now. It's great. So anyways, but I made a decision, right? Back to success is a decision. I said, whatever he says. If coach says you got to shave your head, wear a lipstick, that's going to make you faster, I'm going to do it right now. That's the new Ruben, right? And I started doing that. And that's why I'm better now, because I actually do what coach says. I don't take it as a good idea. And so the book is about that, but it's got a ton of other stuff. And it's written in a story form about this hard-headed guy that's about to lose his job because he's just like me, right? I'm the inspiration for this guy. And so if you go to theshortcutbook.com, theshortcutbook.com, you can get it there. And you can also watch a 12-minute TED Talk that I did. And that's what I did, this TED Talk, the only one I've ever done. And it's called The Power of Following the Leader. And it's gotten like 1 million views. And so I thought, wow, maybe I got so many cards and notes and emails about people that agreed. I thought, man, maybe this is book worthy. And so I wrote the book, and man, everybody says the book is great. So you can, if you're not a reader, watch the video, right? If you're a reader, you can get the book there. So it's theshortcutbook.com.
I'm grabbing that book when we're done. I'm gonna go on an Audible. Is it Audible book too, right?
No, it's not. I gotta get my butt off. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Oops.
But you know what the deal is? All this was coming now. All this is an excuse, okay? But I'm gonna tell you anyways. My first coach, his name was Dmitry, and he was from Ukraine, and he was great. This guy was like a youth worship pastor at a church, right? He kept it fun, and so he just passed away about a few months ago. But and everybody loved Dmitry. I mean, and so I thought, okay, I got to work on my Ukrainian accent, right? So when I do his lines, but you know what? Forget it. I've been using that excuse too long. Dmitry, you're going to be speaking English, normal English, for Audible. Rest in peace, Coach.
Awesome. Well, I want to just so I want you to tell the audience the best way to reach you, and if there's any final closing comments, but just want to acknowledge Yolanda's comment here. Commitment to yourself is foundation for building confidence and achieving your full potential. But thank you, Yolanda. That was great. But any final closing thoughts, and then anything, best way for our community to reach you? You've been incredible. Such an honor to have you on, sir. I just appreciate you big time. Like I said, hero of mine.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Look forward to meeting you all in 3D one day. So I realize, I'm a reader. I've always been a student of success. I love it, but I realize that I'm kind of rare that way, and you proved it with Audible, right? But I did this a couple of years ago. I went to a studio and I did this online course, and it's just an hour long, but it's like drinking from a fire hose, I swear. And I tell people, when you get this, put a reminder every 6 months to do it every year. I mean, every 6 months, because it's only an hour, and just take notes, because something different will pop up actually, depending on your circumstances. You're growing as a person. And so it's awesome stuff. Okay, don't think it's just an hour. Think it's like 100 hours crammed into 1 hour. But I think it's only $100. So if you go to RubenU.com, RubenU.com. I was awful at my university, okay? All right, but I got my own university now. Ruben U. So RubenU.com, you can get it there. And if you're more of a visual, audible type of person, you get a ton out of that.
Love that. Appreciate that. Great stuff. Well, Ruben, we're going to throw you into the green room. If you have a few minutes to stick around after the show's done, we'd love to thank you and say hello to you and just to appreciate you. So, Ruben, see you soon. You've been a blessing to our community. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ruben. Appreciate it.
All right. Good.
Boy, Steve, I remember, man, he was saying he wrote The Courage to Succeed in 2005 or 6. I mean,
Yeah.
it's longer than that, but I remember reading that book, and I was, in the beginning, I said I was clueless in my 20s, but I was in my 30s or so when I read his book. It made such an impact because his story is so incredible. So listen, everybody, certainly pick up Ruben's latest book, The Shortcut, at theshortcutbook.com, and also pick up The Courage to Succeed. I literally would cite that guy's story to people as an inspirational message of somebody else who did something that was against all odds. So just phenomenal. So great to have him on the show, right?
No doubt about it. So, well, listen, I just appreciate you, community, being on here. We're just excited with you. Just such a blessing to us. And next week, same bad time, same bad channel, August, I believe it's 7th. Yeah, August 7th. I didn't write it in my little cheat sheet here, but it's The Power of Your Uniqueness with Marta Spurk. It's going to be a great show, so don't miss it. And like Rob said earlier in the show, if you want to learn more about the masterconnector.show, go there and learn. You can see all the upcoming events. And if you're interested in being a sponsor of the event, like Mr. Russ Hedge did, and appreciate you, Russ, joining us here today. Go to the masterconnector.show to see how you could be a sponsor of the show. We appreciate that. But I want to just end with a quick closing comment, as and I want to talk about Harold Schultz, right? The former CEO of Starbucks, who grew up in a poor family in Brooklyn. So a Boros guy like me, Bronx guy that I am, right? Faced numerous challenges on his path to success. Despite his hardships, he took a leap of faith and brought a small coffee chain, transforming it into a global brand. Schultz's courage to pursue his vision and overcome obstacles inspired countless entrepreneurs to believe in their dreams and strive for success, no matter their beginnings or not. So just remember, folks, to have the courage to succeed. So your story, and maybe in this case, maybe your coffee can inspire others. Let's make sure to let our story be that light. We'll see you next week. Have an incredible day.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives